So hello everyone. Uh, Here, so we're gonna start this introduction to Meeting Center. Uh, we're gonna do this in three parts. The first part would be just a presentation through PowerPoint, just showing some of the features and content that we have in Meeting Center. Second part will be an actual we're going to go through the layout of Meeting Center itself. So I have an additional meeting in process right now. And it's just to show you on the host end what you should expect to see in Meeting Center. The third part we save for Q&A for any questions that you may have. But if any questions arise throughout the presentation, please feel free to go ahead and ask, and we can get it answered. And from my recollection, I'll answer it to the best of my abilities. If I do not have an answer, I can definitely get one for you and reply back via email, if that's all right. So I'll start by sharing my screen, and then that'll get us into our PowerPoint presentation. Here, so by Meeting Center being the basis of our virtual collaboration rooms, it simply starts off here with what is WebEx, and then WebEx provides a suite of real-time web collaboration services that enables organizations to increase reach, accelerate business processes, and reduce costs. Right now, we're going to focus on the Meeting Center suite, which allows you to have collaborative sessions, team meetings, client calls, product demos. You have a dedicated personal room, and I've been informed that most of you all have been using your personal room. With this presentation, you'll find that the personal room, by being an extension of Meeting Center, is very similar. Video conferencing, and in there you're able to share presentations, documents, applications, browsers, and desktops. You share video, your secure meetings, recordings, audio conference, and with this account you can support up to 1,000 participants. So each of you can have a meeting with 1,000 people in your meeting. And what we're shooting for here is making meetings effective. We want your meetings to be productive, managed, engaging, and accountable by making better decisions faster, minimizing distractions and background audio. You can also authenticate your guests, and we know that this will help build relationships and trust with lifelike video experiences, and then the option to record meetings for future reference and training, and they can be played back either on the computer or through a mobile device. So with one solution, what we bring you here is audio meetings, web meetings, and video meetings. And man, even this presentation, I'm gonna try to fly through it with just hitting the main focal points. It's a bit repetitive. It has sort of a sales pitch to it, but this is the template that we're supposed to use. So again, with Meeting Center video conferences, it's 16 languages, and it integrates with other Cisco options, which is Jabber, Spark, and Cisco telepresence applications. Here, so when you have a meeting in your Meeting Center, there's three designated participants. There's the host. The host is the person that schedules, starts, and ends the meeting. The host will have the responsibility of recording the meeting, and then from there, your host can make anyone a presenter. It can mute the attendees, whether that's on entry or during the session, and then, of course, they end the meeting. The second participant would be a presenter. At any point, anyone can be made a presenter. And when you are a presenter, you initiate transfer files or file transfers. You determine and assign interactive privileges to attendees, and you share and deliver the meeting's content. As an attendee, you're there, you join, you could chat with a text chat effort. You can annotate documents if you've been given that privilege. You can participate in polls and other interactive features that's allowed to you by the presenter. And an attendee can also be made a presenter at any time. And this little icon is here, this green, white, and blue icon. That ball is the presenter's ball, and I'll show you how that looks when someone is designated as a presenter in Meeting Center. So we have a modern interactive user interface. We'll go over the interface in depth to show you the arrangements and the options that you have and the views that you can see. It does work for vision impaired navigation using the keyboard and reader applications. And then it also, again, it integrates over into other options, the Cisco Spark in particular, which I believe you all have. So this is a general overview. Again, we'll go over this more in depth. But the page consists of three main portions, which is the panel, the panel at the top, the content viewer right below. I'm sorry, the menu at the top, the content viewer below, and then the panel to the right. So menu across, content view, this big space here, and then the panel on the right. And again, we'll review all of those. So in your meeting tools, what you have your audio options. One of the new audio options, or the more up-to-date feature we have, is the Call Me feature. Typically and traditionally, which I still use the traditional method, I dial the number, enter my information, or enter not my information, but a designated caller ID that's given to me when I call in. You'll enter that, and then you'll be given audio access into the meeting. That process has been simplified with the Call Me option, to where all you do is enter your phone number, or the attendee will enter their phone number, and then the system will call them and connect them to the meeting. From there, you're able to view all participants, whether it's in a list view of just the names, or if that participant is using video, and even if they are not the presenter, this is what this is showing over here. This lady may be the presenter, but all of the other attendees, if they are using video, you can see their video, and if they do not have video, they can assign themselves an avatar or a profile picture so you can see their profile picture. Here, and this is more information pertaining to the audio options, the Call Me option here, showing that if you select this, you'll enter your phone number, or the attendee will enter their phone number and then be called by the telephony system. Or you can call in. This is the traditional, you dial the toll-free or toll number. You'll receive an attendee ID, and then you'll receive a meeting ID that you'll enter before you have access to the audio portion as well. Call using my computer is what's called voice over IP, to where you're connected to the meeting with video and audio through your network connection. If the network connection is really, really reliable and you trust it, I would suggest this option and then make sure that you have a headset, something similar to what I have, or earbuds with a microphone, so that you can hear the audio and then send audio back into the meeting. Or Call Me with Video System is dealing with if you have like a Spark board or things of that nature, where the video and audio is integrated into the video system. And then along with our video conferencing, this is some of the specs that we have. We have up to 720p, 30 frames per second video, and then up to 1080p, 2 frames per second, or on single or multi-screens. Again, you could control the meeting with mutes and unmutes of people that may have unnecessary background audio. You'll see the list of your attendees, and then you can lock this meeting and record the meeting as well. And then this is also able to integrate with Skype for Business and links.
So Ken, before you move on, I just wanted to make a comment. So some of the devices that you showing on this slide, we are looking to just a profit. So anyway, that's all. Just the.
Yeah, it's very. Once I get more to work with these PowerPoints, I'll be able to kind of curve it a little bit towards my style of presentation. A lot of this information does seem a little bit redundant, and I apologize. But if it's, it is information, so it's best be presented as is for now.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have an active speaker. That video of the active speaker stays floating and it stays visible. So even if you're in your content viewer looking at a shared document, you always will see the active speaker in his video window in the forefront. And then if no video is available for the speaker, if you look at the speaker's name or profile picture, there will be a little microphone icon to show this is the particular person that is speaking. You can share content and stream media, whether it's a video file that's saved on the computer or a YouTube link. Those you have the ability to share the URLs and show the video in the meeting. Again, we can record the sessions, and the network-based recordings, you don't have to store this on your computer. You have the option to later on, but it always stays on the network to where you could actually play back from the network as well. You'll never have to download the video in order to see it. Again, we have the dedicated personal rooms with your setup custom URL. This just provides you a static URL so that you can jump in and out of a meeting on the fly or maybe even scheduled. But this is your personal room that you have access to. You'll have your own key code to access the room, and then once you're in the room with your attendee, you can lock this room off so that you are not disturbed during your meeting. And then Cisco WebEx is mobile, so whether it be a tablet or a smartphone, and Android, Apple, Windows, and BlackBerry, I believe, is still there as well. If anyone has one of those, you'll have access to Cisco on your meetings on your mobile device. And the way that we put it is every pocket, every desktop, every room, and with amazing user experience. And here's some things that you can see. Just the knowledge base that we have available to you if you have any questions. Help.webex.com, kb.webex.com. These are all user-facing knowledge bases that you'll have access to from the internet. There's no special sign-on or anything that you'll have to do to get access to it. We do have technical support, as you all may know. And then I am assigned to your account as your customer success manager. So if you have any questions or just don't know which route to take or where to go to find some information, or you just want something answered, I'm available to help with that um, at any time. So, so perfect. So enough with this here. So what I have here is I have a Cisco WebEx meeting that's set up. But before I get into that, I want to show you the different things that you would go through in detail or in short with our quick scheduler or our advanced scheduler when you're scheduling a meeting. And so I'm going to share my screen to show this first. Perfect. So when you log into your host site, my host site is cisco.webex.com. Once I log in there, I can select the Meeting Center tab, and then it gives me the option to just start a meeting. This option is for a personal room meeting. It's not for a Meeting Center itself. So if you're looking to schedule for Meeting Center, you can go under Host a Meeting right here, and then select Schedule a Meeting. It'll start off with the Advanced Scheduler. You can see there's an 8-step process with advanced scheduling. First, you can select the meeting type, just a Meeting Center Pro for me. You can change the topic to whatever you would like the topic to be, and then you can assign a password to your meeting. The passwords are relevant to the people that may connect to your meeting with a mobile device. If they're using the link from an email that you've sent to them, it won't be necessary for them to input the password. It's just for mobile devices. The date and time, the estimated duration, again, this isn't a hard start and stop time. It's just there for you for scheduling purposes, but if you run over in time, that's okay. Your meeting will not close or be shut down. And then you have the ability to schedule these meetings on a daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly basis. And then email reminders before the meeting starts is available as well. You can see down here there's an option to save this as a template. So if you know that there's a meeting that you're going to schedule on a regular basis, but just not on a daily or weekly basis, you have the ability to just draw from your template, and then it'll drop that information in there. You'll more than likely just adjust the date and the time, and then you can have your meeting scheduled that quick as well. The audio conference just gives you your audio options. How would you like your attendee to connect to the meeting? Whether mine is WebEx audio because that's my telephony provider. If you have a different provider, it may say the provider name, and then voice over IP. If you just want to use network-based audio only, you have the option of setting that as well. Upon entry and exit, you can select a tone or a beep, or you can have the person record their name, and their name is then played when they enter and exit the room. When you invite the attendee, you invite them by email address. You can let anyone know with a host account if you would like for them to host the meeting. You could, for security purposes, you can exclude the password, and then you can allow a single sign-on authentication before joining. Registration is something that you can include as well. You can see if you want to include registration. First name, email, and last name is necessary information. Anything along these lines of company name, job title, address, city, state, you have the option of having your attendee include that information as well. From here, you can type in an agenda. You can provide different tabs to the session beforehand, and then you can upload documents to automatically share during the presentation. and how you would like them to play. They could just play continuously. It could switch pages every 30 seconds. And then you can click to allow the participant to control the presentation or document, just meaning that they can skip ahead some of the pages to review if they like. The meeting options, this just gives you a beforehand option of selecting what access to the meetings you would like your attendees to have. If you want the chat box open, video is a necessity, is one of the main reasons that we have these meetings. So that box cannot be unchecked. Notes, if you would like for your participants to take notes, or you could designate one attendee to be the single note taker. Closed captioning, file transfer, and UCF rich media to be uploaded as well. And then whatever privilege you would like for them to have, you can then designate those privileges. This isn't a case to where you could, once you set it here is locked. That's not the case. If you want to change, let's say if you just selected in this option that you didn't want the attendee to annotate any of the documents, but then changed your mind during the meeting, there is a setting that we can, this setting is in the meeting as well, so that you can go ahead and allow those options to be accessible. And then you just review the options that you have set up. You can see just a last minute review before you go ahead and start the meeting. Here, so what I'm going to do is you have the ability to just start the Meeting Center meeting. If you go to the quick scheduler over here, yeah, I think I'm a little lost for a second. 1 minute, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you click on the scheduler meeting, there's an option to just start a Meeting Center meeting. This is where you can start Meeting Center without it being in your personal room. This will actually be a Meeting Center meeting, and you can click that from here. Let me change it over to my desktop. I think I'm just on Google Chrome, so it'll switch over to the meeting when I select this button. 1 second. Perfect. So I'm sharing my screen now. If I select Start, you see this is a Meeting Center default. And it's telling me that I can't connect to the webcam with this meeting because I'm already using my webcam for another meeting. And you can see here, it sent me an email of the invitation that I can send to others. Since I didn't schedule this Meeting Center meeting, it's an off-the-cuff meeting, I have an invitation in the email that I could just begin forwarding to, here, it shows that I could forward this to other attendees that I want to access the meeting instantly, and it provides them the link to join. And then here are the audio options. The call me option, it shows the phone number that I have in the system. And so if I wanted to, I can click connect video and audio, and then I will receive a phone call. Or you could dial in with one of the toll or toll-free options. You'll see that it provides an access code and an attendee ID. Call using the computer is the voice over IP option. It just connects the video and audio through the internet. And call with the video system is the video system option, like if you have a Spark board, which I am not connected to right now. And then you have the option for no audio as well. If they're just going to sit in, listen, and then just use the chat feature. Perfect. So here is my Meeting Center meeting. We start here with the menu up in the top left. Below that is the content viewer. the content viewer automatically uploads with these three options. One is the quick start, which reiterates the meeting and the information. With me being the host, it gives me the ability to begin recording right here. I can just select that button to start a recording. I can end the meeting right here. As the host, you have the ability to end the meeting and you have the ability to just leave the meeting. Please keep that in mind. Leaving the meeting means that you're gone, but the other attendees, maybe another host that you left in charge, can still run the meeting while you're not there. And then it provides me the calling options again, which goes back to the audio options. This is a quick point to share, whether it's an application or other applications. I don't want to stop sharing. And then this is where you could, if you forgot anyone as far as attending the meeting, you could send out an invite or a reminder with this quick option as well, just by typing in their email address or their phone number, or through instant message, whether it's Cisco WebEx Connect or Cisco Jabber. And then the whiteboard is just where you could come up with ideas. This allows you to type in text. And then you can also draw in here as well. And then whatever collaborative efforts come from this whiteboard, it could be saved and it could be shared with the rest of the group. Here, so the menu options at the top left. This is the more. This is where you'll find like all of your options available to you for your meeting. Again, there's an option to open it and share documents or your display. This is where you'll open your poll questions if you want to provide any polling to your attendees. This is where it's saying that I can open the chat just because the chat isn't available in my panel on the right over here. This is where if this save and save as option, this is where if I had a whiteboard document that I drew on, where I can go in and save this document and save as. And then you can save your poll questions, your poll results. You can save the chat, the notes, and the closed captions. And this transfer is where how you could transfer files to your attendees as well. And then here's another way that you can end the meeting. It's here in the file menu, along with being in your quick start option as the host. This edit menu, all of these options deal in particularly with any documents that are uploaded in your content viewer at that time. So if you want to add a page, if you want to annotate on it, if you want to clear your annotations, the font deals with typing in new ideas to that document or to that whiteboard, you can change the font if you want. And then your preferences just are for your chat options, and then the preferences that you have for your attendees. Whether they join the meeting, if it beeps, if they leave the meeting, if you want it to beep, and if they raise their hand, if you want a beeping sound as well. The share menu option is in more detail how you share all of the individuals options that you have available to you. You can share your screen in particular, which is just the overall aspect of your computer screen, just sharing that. A file, which is a document, whether it's a Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or it can include video, which could be like an MP4 or some type of video file that you have saved. Share an application deals with a particular application, whether it's Chrome, Outlook, Cisco Spark, Excel, One thing with sharing an application though is that if you choose to share an application and on your screen you're running something over that application, your attendees will not be able to see what you're looking at, but they will see like a void in that area. So if you have something covering up, like my presentation that I showed earlier when I was sharing PowerPoint, if I had like a internet browser overlapping that PowerPoint presentation on my computer, you wouldn't be able to see what I was seeing on the internet, but you would not be able to see the covered portion of that PowerPoint either. It'll show like a checkered design or a checkered frame over it. So just keep that in mind when sharing just the application. Make sure only the application is visible on your computer so that everybody else will see what you're seeing. Was that clear, or did I have a clear explanation of that? That's good, perfect. Sharing the whiteboard is the same option here, just a new whiteboard, and sharing the collaborative ideas on there. You can share your web browser, which is the same as sharing the application. Sharing multimedia, this is where you will share your YouTube videos and the URLs for them, or wherever you find the video. You'll just type that in. Like if I chose to go to I grab this URL, go back to my meeting, share multimedia. Now we can see the YouTube video is playing on my end in this new meeting. And it's available to all of your attendees to see as well. And then you control the video. You still have control. You can still see the web page and all of that good stuff. And this share my meeting window option is useful if you as the host want to show like your view as the host. Like I had to use this yesterday during our training center meeting because if I choose to show my screen, it automatically negates WebEx. It's almost assuming like, okay, if you want to share your screen, I'm sure you don't want to share WebEx, so let's get that out of the way. But if you are intending to share WebEx, this is where you would do that under the Share My Meeting window. So your attendees will see your view of the WebEx meeting as the host. And again, this view menu deals with anything in particular that's in the content viewer. In this section, if there's any documents loaded here, then it'll allow you to make it full screen. You can make it a thumbnail, rotate and zoom in and out of the picture and such. The audio is just another way to get to the audio and video options here in the menu, just like down here, calling in. And then the computer audio, if someone is using their computer audio, you can see the microphone and then the speaker setup as well to configure that. The participant section, the way that you'll engage this menu is by selecting a particular person name over here in the participants. I'm the only one in this menu, so I can't really mute or unmute myself. But if there is a particular attendee that you notice had some sort of background noise, with a speaker icon that's coming off of or showing to the side of their name here. Instead of muting everyone, you can mute that particular attendee by highlighting their name, and then you can go to this menu and select to mute or unmute. You still have the ability to mute all of your attendees or unmute them all, and then that pre-option that we had in the scheduler to where you could select to mute on entry. If your meeting is already started and you did not select that option in the scheduler, you have the option here again to mute on entry for anyone that may arrive or enter into the meeting late. And again, you have that option to invite and remind just like you did here. You copy the meeting URL just like here if you want to send it quickly via instant message to someone. This option shows that anyone can share documents and such in this collaborative meeting. That can be turned off. You'll see that the check mark appears and then goes away. You can assign privileges to the different users to where they can be made the host, or they can participate in the chat privately with the host or with the presenter or with other participants, and then they can chat with everyone. And then these are privileges that your participants can have in this meeting as well, whether they can print, save, or annotate on the documents. If they can view the participant list, and then view all the documents that you're sharing. And then this option to change the role to, what this does is that if you want, let's say if you do have to exit the meeting early, this is where you would make somebody the host to make sure that all of the ideas are shared even after you're gone. If you want to change and create a new note taker, you can do that. And then you could change someone's role to a closed captionist, and then most importantly a presenter as well. And then let's say if you return to the meeting, you can reclaim your host role right here. And then you can also expel attendees from the meeting. I personally want to see what exactly this does. It sounds like you could just kick them out, but I don't know what all that entails in particular. And then the meeting option is just for information purposes. It just goes over the information from the meeting, the audio and video statistics, like if you're dealing with any video lag or any audio issues or just the overall bandwidth of your meeting, you're able to view that to see what help can be done from your IT, or basically how to help prevent it in the future. One thing that is pretty helpful from WebEx, though, if there is a slow internet connection or the meeting is noticing a latency in the video or jittering and such, it'll help to combat that by lowering the resolution of the video a little, which will allow the information to pass through the system and be shared a lot quicker without all of the stuttering. And again, you can record on the server. You have the option to record to your computer. But again, all of your recordings we have server storage for you, so you can send those recordings there. You can adjust your welcome message from your meeting. You see, it just takes you to your internet browser to where you could change the message if you would like. And then, again, this is just going over more options that you want available in your meeting. With the options that you selected for chat, notes, and file transfer in your scheduler, again, if you want to change that at any time, it's available right here in your meeting options to change. Content sharing in True Color deals with video resolution and how the video is presented. Compression to the video just allows the data transfer to be a lot lower, or allow the data to be transferred to be lower which will allow a better performance, but a slightly less quality of video. Import mode is just for files. In order for a file to be imported, it will have to be converted to a UCF format. And then the help meeting typically just it takes you to the knowledge base to see if you have any questions that could be answered quickly there. And then the last thing on this right side it's just this menu broken down into the more used options that are available. The participants, so you can see the participant view. The chat, if you want to see the how the chat stream is going, and then you can also adjust the height by going in between this bar, making sure you see that up and down arrow, and moving this up and down. You can start the recording from here as well, and then you can see the notes that are being taken in this section as well. So in this panel, the way that you can determine if something is in your view is if the icon for that option is blue. You have a couple ways that you can remove these options from your panel. One is the X to close that participants panel, and you see it changes this option gray. Or you could just click it and it'll change it gray and remove it. And then the multimedia viewer is where we'll see that video. And then let's say if you had rearranged this somehow and you just want to get back to how it was before, you could just restore the layout, and then you can hide the panel altogether if you like, which just makes more room for the content viewer. And again, the way that this differs from your personal room is that this is just a more thought out and scheduled collaboration. Your personal room will very closely resemble this. So all of these options that are in this meeting center is in your personal room. You just have your personal room as a static IP to go ahead and collaborate at any point that you want. This is just an option so that you could have a more thought out and elaborate meeting experience if you want. And with that, I am done. Thank you for sitting through that. Were there any questions that came up? I think you still have, for some reason, we have all of the participants muted. Let me see.
Career was tortured. I think anybody who think that had any validity.
Yeah, Theodora, yours is still muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so it doesn't sound like there's any questions on this side. I just wondered if Caroline has some questions, but I think she was chatting too.
So I have a question. So from the looks of it and the reactions, I would say it's safe to assume that everyone at least has experience with the meeting, with their personal room. Everyone has used their personal room? No?
All I want to do is
It looks easy, yeah.
Mhm.
I have a question. If you can share your PowerPoint presentation with us, that would be possible.
Can you share PowerPoints?
Yeah. So your PowerPoint presentation, can you share that with us?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like send it over to you.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh
can
yes,
you,
yes, I can do that.
yeah, your PowerPoint presentation, what I can do is I can actually do it on PowerPoint as well, and then send that back to all the hosts. So I don't know if you got that. We'll put it on our intranet so people can take a look, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. This actually, it's the same PowerPoint presentation that I sent before we started our sessions, Theodora. The only thing that's different is that I think the page that you asked to be removed, I removed it.
Okay.
So I mean, I could send you that version of it, or if you want to just remove that page from your file, it's the same one.
I don't even remember what page I sent it to. So maybe you can send me your two presentations.
Sure. Yeah, I'll send it over as soon as we're done.
Okay, okay. And so maybe this presentation and the training center presentation from yesterday.
Perfect. Yeah, I could definitely do that.
Okay. I thought you had some other features in that. Yeah, and I received your email with the link to yesterday's presentation. So now that all of our sessions are finished, I will send that back again to all the folks with that information. But I think, Richard, did you have a question? Okay. Why don't you kind of highlight that again through that interface, the host interface? Because we can do that. We have all.
Oh, no, yeah, but I'm on Thursday. And I've got one person joining, so I'm assuming then like I need to schedule a meeting ahead of time, or do I do this meeting? And do I send this from my desktop? Like, this isn't really a question for you, probably, it's more for you, but yeah, I still don't know what I need to do for the WebEx on Thursday, and I mean, it's gone through all the stuff, all the features and everything, which is fine, I'm not gonna remember it. And the main thing is, I need to schedule the meeting, I'm gonna make sure that I schedule the meeting, get the information in the part thing, but then once I start using it, I'm in there, or that all, and I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
schedule the meeting.
Okay. So just to maybe highlight, there are several different types of meetings. So one is the personal room. So Ken, correct me as I speak because you know this inside out. I think I know what I'm talking about. So personal room, working meeting, the URL is always the same. So in case where maybe you're having a meeting that's reoccurring and you will be there to start the meeting, then you can and that your meeting is like, right? That's where when Ken was showing things, when you log into WebEx, there is the one big green button that says start my meeting or start the meeting. Correct? Is that making sense?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing.
Oh, okay, because I'm facing Bridget and I'm not facing you.
Mhm.
I'm not facing the camera. Anyway, I was talking about the personal room, right?
Mhm.
Where you can include the link, it'll always be the same. And the easiest way to start your personal room is to log into your WebEx, which is capitalletterU.webex.com, and then use your username and password, and then you click on that big green button that goes start my meeting, right?
Right. So think of it like if we took this virtual atmosphere and actually put it into reality, like like an office building. So your personal room will be like your own office, to where somebody can come and knock on the door, and like if they know where to look for you, they know you're more than likely in your office. The meeting center would be like the conference room that you have to kind of schedule ahead of time to book time into, because everybody may use it and have access to it. So if you want that bigger collaborative atmosphere and you don't want it in your office, you'll choose the conference room. But if it's just something where someone is dropping in or saying like, "Hey, do you have time to meet?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have 15 to 20 minutes." You could do that in your personal room. Even though the option is there for both, it's really depending on how you view it and how you use it.
So the question I have then is, if let's say Bridget wants a meeting and Bridget is absent or sick or whatever that day, what can she do to make sure that somebody else can post the meeting on the
She can assign someone as the host. That person that she trusts to run the meeting on her behalf, she can assign them host privileges. And from there, is this before the meeting starts and she knows she's not going to make it, or is this the meeting is started? Okay, here, 1 second.
And I just wondered if that's different if she's doing it from her personal room. Right?
If she could join. I'm sorry, say that again?
Okay, so the scenario is again, she is supposed to post a meeting, but let's say she's sick today, somebody else needs to log in and do the posting. So choice one is, let's say she had a scheduled meeting through the meeting center versus a personal room type of meeting.
Okay. If it's scheduled.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's scheduled through the meeting center, you can assign a new host to host that meeting on your behalf. If it's scheduled through the personal room, like this meeting that we're in currently is through Theodora's personal room. So when it came time for me to access it, or when I tried to access the room, that room was unavailable to me until she entered the room. So you can't have someone host a personal room meeting on your behalf, but you can have someone host a meeting center meeting on your behalf.
Okay, so if that's still the case, if I haven't locked down my meeting room, isn't there kind of a scenario where I can lock down my meeting room and leave it open or something like that?
Yes, you do have the ability to. Here, 1 second.
I just remember seeing there is a setting somewhere that basically goes, do you want to lock down your room? So I think that may be the case where, let's say I have one-on-one or an interview or something, and I have invited somebody to my personal room, but I don't want anybody else to get into my room, and I lock it, so people have to knock at the door.
Right. That's exactly the case.
Yeah? Okay. Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so maybe I can only lock the room after I start the session.
Right. In your personal room, yes, you can lock the room.
Okay, so you... Yeah.
And you schedule a meeting and send them the link.
Yeah. It's just one scenario you're doing at a time and the other one. So I think for the meetings that are coming up, meeting, we'll just have to do that as an actual meeting. Yeah, through the meeting.
Yeah,
But, yeah. Then, do I bring a laptop? But there's some people, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Ken, there's some questions around hardware on our end, and you don't really need to be part of that conversation. I don't care. We can address this on our end, so I can answer the questions here, I think.
Okay.
So if that's okay. So I'll answer your question, Bridget. So the one thing though, Ken, for you is I had also sent a meeting invitation for December
18th.
18th. Will you accept it?
No, the 19th.
19th, sure. Next week, 10 to 12 or something like that. If you accept it, I'll be forever grateful, and the team will be even happier.
All right. I have to accept it and then set up the training environment again, right? The training.
So they wanted to do an overview of, all of those things. So all 4 components: personal room, event center, meeting center, training center.
Okay. So do we need a training center link, or are we just going to do this in your personal room again?
I think it'll be good to have a training center link.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. Let's go with that, and then we can do the entire session through that training center link, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do that. Okay. Excellent.
Perfect. But thank you for your time. Hey, y'all have a good day.
Okay. You too.